What is going on? I'm Zedmont. We are gonna do a video. Now, this video is gonna be long and it's well researched. It's well funded by you guys throwing code Zedmont into your creator boost. So if this video helps you, educates you, entertains you, or you simply don't know what else to put in that box, please throw code Zedmont in every single Supercell game. Now, I have avoided making a defensive video for about 8 years. Constantly people ask, what's the best base layout for headquarters level 3? What's the best base layout for headquarters level 15? I'm going to show you that right here, right now. But first, there's a disclaimer. Now, the best base layout is one that doesn't have a lot of defenses. As you can see, defenses are generally considered by the most biggest brains of Boom Beach to be not relevant. I'm going to show you how to pick up intel and diamonds without defenses, or with as few defenses as required. Don't worry about defenses too much. Rush your HQ, rush your HQ, rush your HQ. Now, that term might not mean anything to you because you don't play other Supercell games, but the order is from left to right. Headquarters, then Sculptor. If at any point you can do your headquarters again, just do it. Like headquarters level 1, 2, and 3, that's all you need to do. Bam, bam, bam. Don't upgrade or build anything else, just headquarters. And then later on, as you move down the line, sure. Now, storages are only as required for a very specific reason. That is because there is actually an advantage to having a low-level storage. You can overflow it using the trader, and those resources can't be stolen. I've got videos on all of these things individually. And then down the bottom, build ASAP, but don't upgrade. Hero Hut, pretty obvious. Heroes are super OP. You want them. Submarine doesn't really matter. It's a good way to use your extra resources, but you're better using your gold in your armory or on your clouds or on your tribes. Then the weapon lab. Notice no S on weapon lab. It's not weapons lab. I've made that mistake 1,000 times. You want it because you want to accumulate prototype parts, but you don't want to use it right away. And then finally, statue storage. Yes, of course, build it, but know that it doesn't do what most people want it to do. But it is useful if your sculptor builds a beautiful statue and you don't have a spot to put it quite yet. So any questions on that? I do respond to all comments. Please do hit me up. Now, you might be thinking this layout is terrible, and it is intentionally terrible. Intentionally, I think I just invented a word. So this right here, this is one of the things you want to avoid. Now, throughout this video, I'm going to keep layering on. We're going to move up 3 headquarters levels at a time. So do check the chapters or watch the whole thing. This right here, 1 artillery dead center costs them 3 GBE. It destroys 4 buildings, giving 12 GBE. So you definitely, the first thing you want to do is never have things touching. The only time you want things touching is when you want people to attack there, because they will. So don't do it, basically ever. Next up, same thing, this right here. This touching is also not good because someone can throw an artillery and clear that mine. Same thing with this right here. You can throw 1 artillery dead center and clear that sniper tower and the mine. That is a little bit higher skill. All the things I'm going to show you is how to defend against people with lower skill. The number one mistake people make when they're building their base is they design it in a way that is going to defend against the best player that's using the exact same troops you're using. Don't turn your brain off. What you want to do is build a base that defends against troops that other people are using in your replay log, not the troops that you with your big brain are using. Now, next up, because we're on headquarters level 3, I'm going to say this base is the worst possible base. What people do, you can come in here, get all this free gunboat energy, and then come behind. Yes, you can walk through trees. That is a huge... Everyone who started Boom Beach, I feel like, thinks that these trees are going to protect their base in some way. You can walk through trees. Had to mention that. Wouldn't be fair if I didn't. So don't think that somehow trees are going to defend you. Having all your defenses in front of your headquarters is not going to defend you. People are just going to drop over on the side. You guys all know this. I had to mention it though. So what we're going to do is we are going to spread things out a little bit. Now, obviously we can't clear all of these trees because they're too high level, need to be higher headquarters level. So with our base, what we are generally going to do, let's get rid of that red writing on there. What we are generally going to do to start with is not build a base on this right-hand side. This walk up this right-hand side is very, very well known. It's very, very straight. It's very, very easy. You don't want to build a right-hand base. So what we're going to do instead is we are slowly but surely going to build our base towards that back left corner. That is the best for a mid and low level base. And then eventually we will be moving into the center of the map. That is the best way to do it. You want to have a center base later on, but for right now, we're going to have a left base. That is how we're going to get started. Now, way too often, people look to the global leaderboard to see how they should play Boom Beach, how they should build their base. And sure, if you've got 4,000, 8,000 powder and you want to push every single 19-minute increments and play as much as you possibly can, then sure, copy these bases. But having all of these ice statues is not ideal for 99.9% of the population. Blue and red is the way to go. It's going to get you higher in Mega Crab. It's going to get higher in the daily and weekly events. It's going to get you higher on operations and make things way easier. And also, looking at this person's troops, they are not using these troops. Don't look at the leaderboard. Look at the operation leaderboard. That is the way to go. So if we jump into the task force leaderboard, if we jump into the high scores, let's look at Angry Turtles, for example. If we look at Dragon, let's see what Dragon has for statues. You see Dragon? This is what you want for statues. You want purple and reds. Now, Dragon is a max level player. Anyone below max is probably going to have resource reward. You're probably going to have troop health. Dragon is an operation specialist. So again, leaderboards are not a great place to look, but they are a good starting place of where to look. Okay, now that the preachy bits are out of the way, let's get going. I know it's preachy, not ideal, but some of these things need to be said because people have made these mistakes for years and years and years. Now, quick detail, you can hide your buildings back in the trees back in here. There are some slots available if you can find them. Just be aware, you're never going to find it until you get to like HQ level 10 where you get those base layout building options. So yes, you can hide them from your attacker so they can't get the free gunboat energy, but not the best idea. And if you try and throw your defenses back there, the trees do become translucent. So do it at your own risk because it really sucks when you're trying to upgrade your vault and you just can't find the vault. So anyways, what we are going to do is we are going to place some things over here. Now, I have said already that we're going to worry about defense. You can use things like residences as a defense by placing your residence and or your wood storage in front of your defenses. It's going to make people attack those first, or it's going to make them use flares to go around them. So do use non-defensive buildings up front. Yes, they'll get free gunboat energy from it, but it will allow your sniper tower to attack things. The easiest way to get intel and diamonds is by taking a couple troops. We're not looking for a full defense. There is no such thing as a full defense in Boom Beach. The easiest way to get defenses is to surprise people and to take them, make them retreat because they go, oh crud, you've done something that I didn't expect, and they retreat out of panic as opposed to out of necessity. So we're going to just randomly throw our base defenses out a little bit. We're going to mix our mines in and around things. Yes, if they go right, they're going to get a little bit more gunboat energy, but at the HQ level 3 level, really, you're not going to defend or even be attacked all that much. So don't worry about things until you get to HQ level 10, 12, 15 in that neighborhood. All we're doing is putting our mines out there so people are going to step on them. We're putting our defenses out a little bit wide and we're protecting against that one side. So next up, if we move this, we can see that the very edge of that map is where those grid where that grid ends. So this sniper tower can reach all the way to that left-hand side. And next up, once people start to get shock bombs, what I'm going to show you is that shock bombs have a diameter of 7 tiles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This building can be shocked at the same time as your sniper tower. So once you start to get some higher level defenses, things like boom cannons or rocket launchers, we would move that out by 1 tile. That way people can't actually shock them both in one shock. Next other detail is these mines have a radius where they can be tripped. So if you step here or here, you will trip the mine. So that is very, very important. Throwing your mine up against the very, very far right-hand wall, throwing it right here, does not make sense because you're not getting the max level of your mine. You want to throw it about there. That way they can trip it on either side. You change the radius to be 3 as opposed to 2. Again, any questions, any comments, please do let me know. I mean, a base, something like this is going to be useful. It's not centered, so people have to go one side or the other. If they come up the middle, we've got 2 snipers that will hit them. If they get towards the core, that mortar, probably maybe move it a little bit closer, but we don't want it touching. So somewhere in about there is good. If we were to clear this tree, probably a little bit better. That way the mortar can reach both sides. It's not touching the headquarters. It can cover everything. And if someone comes in from behind, then the mortar is hopefully going to pick off some troops. All we're caring about here is picking off some troops, getting some free intel for our task force once we can actually join one. And if we try and go to join, for example, you need to be headquarters level 6. We're not worried about intel quite yet, but we are worried about getting some free diamonds. Quick detail before we move past HQ level 4, notice that we have the ability to build things. You don't have to build everything. If we go back to this image, this is called the upgrade order, but it's also the build order. Don't worry about things. Yes, building things gives you quick, easy experience points, but if you have the resources to upgrade your headquarters, just do that. Don't worry about building every single thing. The fact that we can build a machine gun, not a big deal. It takes an hour. Instead, it's better if we can upgrade our headquarters when it's relevant. So don't feel like just because there's a 4 on that hammer, you need to build everything. Yes, we're going to build the mines, of course, because they take 0 seconds. But for other details, if you've got a headquarters that can be upgraded, do that instead. If you've got an armory or a sculptor that can be upgraded, do that instead. Don't get focused on building everything. Don't worry about maxing everything for your headquarters. Just follow that order to the letter. It will do better for you, I promise. And just like that, we are headquarters level 6. So now you'll see we've started to clear some of these trees. And by the way, you'll notice that we can't clear the sturdy mangroves yet, but if you poke in and around, you can find other trees. They're not in a specific exact order. There are some other trees that you can clear if you poke your way through. There'll be random ones here and there that you can clear. Not that I can find them at the moment, but they do exist. I do promise you, as you can see by the fact that we can't clear this sturdy, but we've cleared all the way around it. One thing to note, trees do grow back, stones don't. So if you like the way stones look or you want to change troop pathing, leave those stones there. Doesn't really do much for you, but we're going to continue with having this mortar in behind our headquarters. We are going to have our sniper tower up in the front. We're just building this ring around our headquarters bit by stinking bit as I try to move things and they don't want to go. So again, not a big deal. The one thing to be aware of is that some buildings are going to some defenses are going to be more valuable to you than others. What I want to do is I want to have my least valuable ones out front so that people will waste their time on them. And then, for example, right now, cannons against things like tanks or heavies, more valuable than low-level sniper towers. So you want to position things a little bit smart, a little bit planned. Doesn't really matter all that much. We are using, again, these buildings to slow people down, to waste their gunboat energy. We assume most people are going to come straight from the front. Most people aren't going to go to the right, but we do have a machine gun over there and a sniper tower. Our defenses are nice and spread out. Our mines need to be moved a little bit here and there. Now, quick note, for those of you who play warships, you know this, but in the event that you start thinking, well, my mine is getting them to like 45% health, I want to kill troops with it, you can double up your mines. Not a bad idea, especially if you can put them in the same sort of neighborhood where people tend to go. Get your mines away from buildings, get them spread out, and something like this looks decent. We're probably going to put one back about here. Watch your replays, see where people are walking, and try to stop them from going places. The other detail is you can subconsciously tell people where you want them to go. By placing more defenses on one side or the other, I'll show you that later on, you can influence the direction people can want to go. So people will see more defenses here, maybe they'll drop over here. These spread out mines will clip them bit by stinking little bit. Even if they're just using a whole bunch of flares to go around your base, you're wasting their gunboat energy, and at these low levels, that's going to result in you taking some of their troops. Don't worry about defending and having them retreat or killing all their troops. Just worry about getting intel and diamonds. So we've got all our defenses in play. That mortar is going to range all sorts of areas. I would prefer to have it back about there, but that tree can't be cleared because we're too low of a level, so we're just going to have to live with what we've got. Defenses getting bit by bit better. We've got our hero hut built. Things are coming along. Probably getting some intel and some diamonds simply by placing our mines well, forcing people onto our defenses. Jumping that headquarters level up to headquarters level 9, you can see we're a little bit constrained by the trees. We can't clear any trees behind us, so things are spread out. We've got our mines in decent spots spread around. Now, here's where things start to get interesting. You can see that we've tried to hide a mine behind that sniper tower. Bit by bit, you will be able to hide mines. That's going to drastically increase your amount of intel and diamonds. You might be saying, yeah, right, I would see that, I would scout that. Most people don't scout. They're just going to attack. They don't have time for that. Instant training made things instant. This is where you can first really hide a mine, is behind that radar. You can just see it when it's pointed away in one of, 3 positions probably. So do consider hiding some mines. You'll also notice that I don't have any kind of straight lines. Anytime you have all of your buildings in a perfectly straight line, it makes troops path perfectly. You want troops to have to move not only from front to back, but also side to side. So do stagger your buildings a little bit. You'll see I probably could move that out a little bit more. Staggering our buildings, no straight lines. We've got that mortar covering from behind, this mortar covering the entire right quadrant, and then some cannons and snipers covering that left side. And you're probably saying, Zed, I could take that down easy. Yeah, you want to know what? You can, because you're one of the few, 1% of the player population that goes on YouTube that watches strategies. Have a look at your opponent's statues. They're green, they're blue, they don't know what they're doing. So just by you being here doesn't have anything to do with me. It just means you're curious. You're probably on Discord, you're probably on Reddit. You are already looking at strategies, so you're better than 99% of the population. We're going to jump to HQ12 where things start to get real. Okay, we are 19 minutes in and we are now at headquarters level 12, starting to get some better defenses. We've got some boom mines, we've got some boom cannons. You're going to be amazed how far people are going to go out of their way to avoid those once you first get them. So we have built a decent base, very, very constrained by the trees still. We talked about not having buildings touching. Yes, we've got some buildings touching. That stone storage is touching my wood storage. If they want to use their artillery to remove my storage buildings, they are welcome to do it. Go nuts, fill your boots, don't care at all. We've got some good hidden mines happening. That sniper tower is hiding mines. We've got mortars in behind. Now, quick note, you can hide defenses by trees. You're going to be amazed later on how people start to miss things by putting things in a weird spot. For example, I'll show you on my higher level base things that I do to hide things, but for now, we're just focusing on headquarters level 12. We've got some buildings way back behind. Don't rely on that too much. As people start to get critters, they're going to throw critters back there. You're going to be giving them all sorts of free resources. So yes, hide some things towards the back. Put some buildings towards the back that don't shoot anything, but don't rely on that too much. Also, my mines are very spread out. That is fully intentional. All those players who have their mines along the shore, once you get past those mines, like if we put all of our mines like people tend to do up in here, as soon as you're past those mines, you never have to think about them again. So by placing our mines spread out a little bit, we do great things, not only when the people drop their troops, but throughout their attack. Now, looking at this, the attacker is going to say, well, they've got lots of mines over in here. I'm going to go this way. And that is where we're going to pick up some free intel by simply placing a boom mine hidden back there. People are not going to see it. They're going to attack from this level. They're not going to see it. They're going to hit that boom mine. We're going to pick up some intel and diamonds. This is not rocket surgery. We're not looking to defend against the best of the best. That does not happen until you get to above 1,400 victory points. Even at the 14, like way over here in the Marshall tiers, you start to see some great players. Below that, you'll be amazed at the statues and the troop loadouts that people use. So keep at it. Don't overthink it. Spread your mines out, hide your mines, build towards the left, and then just keep plugging away. And then jumping into headquarters level 16, this is what I'm running right now on my Tom's account. Now, this account is geared towards offensive statues, as you can see here. Important to focus on offense, not defense. You can also see that I haven't built a bunch of defenses. You don't have to build them. Of course, especially like mortars with that 30-minute build time, that is very quick experience points. The faster something builds, the more XP you get per hour. So build those things during the day and then build long stuff like upgrade your headquarters when you're sleeping. That gets you the most XP per hour, gets your headquarters to the highest possible level. Now on this account, if we have a look at our replay log, you can see we haven't been attacked in 40 days. We're at the low victory point. So keeping your victory points low by only attacking NPCs and events keeps you from being attacked if you're worried about losing resources, which you really shouldn't be, to be completely honest. But again, back left corner base. Now, our mines back here are specifically put there because people are going to burn through all of their GBE, getting through all of our defenses, and then they're going to run over some mines. It's that simple. All we're looking to do is get some easy intel and diamonds. And if you want more intel and diamonds, the easiest way to do it is to get your victory points higher. So keep them low if you don't want to be attacked. Keep them high if you want free intel and diamonds. Just know that at 480 victory points, very important detail. Where is that? Right about there. As soon as you get into the major ranks, know that you're going to get into the deep end. Your matchmaking changes at 480. All of a sudden, you go from getting headquarters level 16 bases to getting headquarters level 25 bases. Be very aware of that. I like it. I play in the hardest possible difficulty setting. Not everyone does, though. So there is your headquarters level 16 base. We've got a whole bunch of powder. We've got good, decent offensive statues. We are doing well on the Mega Crab. Getting those diamond trophies, probably not, but getting gold, getting iron, all of the things that Boom Beach was made for. Operation attacks going well. Warships season 49 going well. Keep it going. We're going to jump from 16 probably to 18. Okay, now we are at headquarters level 18. Wanted to show you one more detail. Notice that my base is in this hook shape. So we've got all sorts of defenses, then a bunch of mines, and then the headquarters. This is called a Hammerman base. It does not work against players because all players would do is walk up this side with a couple flares and take your base down. Hammerman does not use flares. So by building yourself a Hammerman base, you can get yourself all sorts of intel and those parts for your base. Of course, you need to have the weapon lab built, but do consider making yourself a Hammerman base, and then you can jump into your base and save it. I've got mine saved as Hammer. We're then gonna load hiding stuff, need to clear some trees, and you'll see we've got ourselves a center base. Center bases work fairly well, but it all comes down to what level your base is, what level your defenses are. So I've got one boom cannon here. You can hide 3 mines behind a boom cannon once it gets to a decent level. Behind your radar, you can hide another one into about here. You can hide them behind your sniper towers. You can hide them behind your guardians, behind your masterpieces, behind your mega crab trophies, behind even things like wood storages. Lots and lots of ways to hide mines. Just hiding those mines will make all the difference in the world. You already know how to build a base. We've walked through mine placement, building placement. You can see we're using a 5x5 building to make our troops path around it if they're going to use warriors. And another note, defending against warriors is an easy way to get intel and diamonds if you hide things well, but that's going to be like 1 out of 20 players, so don't worry too much about that. Again, watch your replays. Make sure you're defending against troops that people are actually using. It's going to change day by day, week by week. So maybe you see that Rainmakers are coming. So maybe you have more than 100 parts of each. So you're going to build yourself a Doom Cannon. Maybe you see that it's Clone Rifleman. So you're going to build yourself a Hot Pot. Generally though, don't use your weapon lab until you get to HQ 18 or so. Don't want to waste too much on that. Okay, here is the end result. I am near max, obviously not 76 XP or whatever it is, but I am a max level headquarters. Now, I want to defend against the beach. By having our rocket launchers covering the beach, we know that people need to drop their troops and use their gunboat energy. We've got shock launchers at the beach. We've got mortars. Mortars and sniper towers both range troops if they use flags. If you drop your troops with a flag, they're going to be in range of a sniper tower and a mortar. If you drop your troops using a flare, say for example over in here, your troops are going to walk out of the range of sniper towers and mortars. But of course, we do have defenses against that. Oops, that's not the right color blue. Let's switch back to that blue. Our shock launchers can range. Our boom cannons can range. Rocket launchers also can range. We want people to not be able to think. As soon as they drop troops, they are in the game. They're not getting some free gunboat energy at shore. Like if we have a look at some of our opponent's bases, for example. Okay, so Smile, for example. This base, we can drop our troops. No problems at all. We've got this nice relaxing time where we can walk our troops to wherever the heck we want to. Don't need to be stressed. We've got our troops exactly where we want them. Didn't have to use a flare, just super duper relaxed. So not a great way to do things. Also, what we can do is if we want to get super fancy, we can drop 1 boat of bombardiers and then we can use all of our gunboat energy to get rid of these rocket launchers. Our bombardiers are now going to clear all of these defenses. Like we can clear literally all the way to the core because their boom cannon is under construction. So if you're doing something like building or upgrading a defense, do consider moving it the heck out of the way because all that is giving us free gunboat energy. We're just gonna walk all the way to the core on this base and nothing is gonna stop us. Yes, that sniper tower got 1 shot in because bombardiers do silly things, but we're just walking in. I got too close, told you they do silly things. And now we can just walk all the way through this base, clearing everything without needing to use more than one boat of troops. Silly, poor base design, make people think the second they drop their troops. Just like if you've ever played any sports, giving someone time is the worst thing you can do. Full court press, get in their face, make them make mistakes, and they will. I guarantee it. That's just like that guy from that commercial. I guarantee it. So that should cover most details. Prototype parts, don't use them until you're max level. Do plan them based on what's coming this month in Boom on the Boom Beach YouTube channel, or the Boom Beach Discord will influence that. Now, critter launchers is something I haven't covered. They are new to the game. New is now in bunny ears. Critter launchers are fantastic, but you don't want them in the front row. You want them in the second row or even back in the third row, because you want people to have to deal with all of your other defenses as your critter launchers just keep lobbing more and more things to distract them. Having them up in the very, very front row means that as soon as the person drops their troops, they're done. So next up, we talked about shocks. You'll notice that the distance between these defenses is specifically the shock launcher and the boom cannon is more than 7. That is vital because you don't want people shocking two high value defenses at the same time. Yes, they can throw a shock right here, but then they're missing this and this and this and this. They're going to push someone to one side, and this is where things get very interesting. For those of you who have been looking at my base, how many of you have noticed the grappler? If you've been looking at my base, subconsciously you're thinking, well, I'm a tank medic player. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boom cannons on the right. So obviously or on the left, obviously I'm gonna go right. Well, think again, my friend. I have been trying to push you towards the right. Yes, you're gonna have to deal with probably 1, 2, 3, 4 boom cannons instead of 5, but look right there. Let's zoom in, shall we? Hidden amongst the red statues and the yellow trophies is a grappler. That is how we're going to get defenses, and how I can show that to you is right here. Let's look at Whiskey Melee. What's Whiskey Melee going to do? Let's watch it in 2x mode because, yeah, really doesn't matter. Come on, Whiskey, what are you going to do for us? They're going to barrage that boom cannon. Come on, please go right, Whiskey. I haven't watched this replay, but please do make me right. They thought my boom cannon was touching my critter launcher. It wasn't. Now they're going right, bringing all their troops right because they're feeling like, hey, we're going to do awesome things. Right side is unprotected. And then as soon as those critters are gone, watch this. Come on, grappler, do your thing. Whoa, Whiskey's like, what is going on? And now they're like, oh crap, get away from the grappler, let's go left. I'm telling you, the way you get defenses is by surprising people, not by having wasting your trophies or statues on ice, but by forcing people subconsciously to go one direction or the other. Whiskey freaked out, ignored the fact that the right side is basically clear, and went towards the left-hand side. So we picked up 2 intel 5 diamonds there. If we look down here, we got 2 intel 5 diamonds. Look down here, 1 intel 5 diamonds. Lots and lots of free diamonds simply by tricking people. Let's see what Spartan had to do. Spartan probably saw the grappler. Not everyone is going to miss it, but even if 10% of people do, you're going to be in good shape. They've already used 2 shocks. They're now at the point where they're going to use another shock. They've wasted at least 36 gunboat energy. They're starting to get low. They're starting to try to throw artilleries. Our boom cannons are picking off troops one by one. Grappler is pulling troops away one by one. They're now shocking things, freaking out. This is going to be a standard attack that you're going to see. People love using laser rangers. They're fun. But all of a sudden, because we've got our defenses built up to a decent level, we've hidden mines, we've hidden prototypes, we've spaced our things out, we're gonna get intel and diamonds. Great things for you and for your task force. Hopefully this has covered everything, but I know I've missed things. Jump into the comments. There's going to be details in there that I have forgotten that smart people like you have added. Hide your minds, place your defenses well, build towards the left, and then once that gets strong enough, come towards the middle. If you need tips on your base layout, leave me a link in the comments. I will comment on your base, or even easier, jump into one of our task forces. We've got like 8 task forces in the description down below. Jump on my Discord, send me a screenshot of your base. I'll give you my feedback. Other people will also give you feedback. Jump on the Boom Beach Discord server as well. My Discord link is right there on the screen. Otherwise, thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, using code ZEDMOT in all Supercell games, and I put a lot of time into this. For those of you who stuck around to the end, thank you very much. I'm ZEDMOT. Thank you for coming in. Peace.